Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the podcast. I'm your co-host M2 Dave, and I'm here with my co-hosts Crimson Shadow, MK Tom Brady, Rio, and Zyphox. Please say hi, everybody.
What's
What's
up?
up, guys? We're
Up,
back.
everyone?
That's right. It's good to have everybody back. So there was not a, I was going to say patch, but there was a hot fix 2 3 days ago, depending where you are, that had certain character adjustments to Shiva, Joka, Sechuan, Fujin, Robocop, Rambo, and Shao Kahn. Let's talk about the most, I assume the most controversial changes. I'm going to ask direct questions to everybody. First question is going to be, the first set of questions are going to be about Shiva. I'm going to start with Crimson. Crimson, was Shiva, first question, was Shiva fairly nerfed? Yes or no question. And then go into, if, however you want to answer, that's up to you. And then go into depth, whatever you think. Go ahead, Crimson.
Yeah. So this is gonna kind of relate to what I said on the last couple podcasts we did about Shiva. In my opinion, this is never about nerfing Shiva, and no one cares whether Shiva is good or not. Right? Like people aren't mad at Shiva for being too good. They were mad at Drag and Drop, and so I believe Drag and Drop was fairly nerfed. Shiva as a whole, as a character, could probably use some additional help to compensate. But we all know this was never about Shiva. No matter what tier she was in, I think we can all agree she was never like super top tier. But no one cared because they just didn't want to play against Dragon Drop. So at the end of the day, I think this will keep people from from throwing all their worldly possessions out of the window and burning things every time that Drag and Drop appears on the screen. So at the end of the day, it probably had to be done, and it was done.
Tom, what do you think?
Was he fairly nerfed? I think she was nerfed to the only extent that they could do it through a hotfix. So I think they wanted to make sure that they did enough to the move to where people could say, okay, they're satisfied with the move. I mean, there are some people who still think that they should have made the move blockable on top of all this. I think that uh, the drag and drop was. I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, what else could they have done with it with a hotfix? I mean, like with a hotfix, the most you can do is adjust. How fast or slow a move is, the recovery of a move, things like that. They touch the move in every way they possibly can. They touch the hitbox. They touch the recovery. They pretty much touched everything they could do. How long? We got rid of the intermediate delay. I think they touched everything that people complained about. That hey, sometimes I dash past her and she like barely steps on my toenail and she kind of like sucks me in like a vacuum, even though she should visually have barely missed me. It like sucks me in and I get stomped anyway. So they said, okay, that complaint will reduce the hitbox. Then people complain about the intermediate delay because they're like, I don't know how long she's going to be in the air. She can delay it even by 1 frame, and it's going to gain the tracking as if it's like it doesn't matter how long you delay it or how short you delay it. Like too many different delay timings. So they said, okay, no more intermediate delay. There's just really fast or really slow. That's it. And then people complain about the recovery, so they nerf the recovery. So they wanted to touch everything people complained about, which they did. It seems very excessive now because they can't do anything to Shiva to compensate because it was a hot fix, not a patch. If it were an actual patch, they probably could have said, okay, let's also do this, this, and this to the character. Or they could have nerfed the stomp in a different way. But through a hot fix, they did all they can. And they're not able to give to Shiva to compensate for that or to kind of change her meta around so it's less stomp dependent. So it seems very harsh right now. Are they planning to do something else? I'm not sure. But right now it does seem very harsh.
I had to ask
Go ahead.
because I forgot to mention it, but what do you think the deal was with the health nerf? because that was the one thing that I didn't understand.
Oh yeah, the health nerf. Yeah.
Yeah, like you almost forget about it, but it's like was Shiva with 1,000 health like a problem? That was the one thing where I was like kind of like like why was this done?
Well, because she was the Deathshot, the Deathstroke, the Scorpion, Justice One that is of the game, and they wanted to when they touched it, they wanted to make sure she is really bad, which she is. No, she's horrible. I've seen tweets. Obviously, some people wanted to go further, but a lot of some players who actually use her think she's garbage right now, and I think she is. I think she is the new Shao Kahn of this game, easily, because considering like how she was balanced, not as this hotfix as a, overall as a character, she's supposed to have very bad footsies, very small reach, but as a result, she's supposed to use the stomp and her fireball, which was nerfed patches ago. So she kind of finds herself in this real weird situation. I don't think they were at all interested in balancing her, at least not in this hotfix. And I think the results will speak for themselves. I don't see why anybody would use the character anymore. Again, we're talking about the hit region. By the way, now the delay, there's only one delay timing from what I understand, and you have 30 more recovery saves or miss or when hit armor or when it hits an armor attack. That's that's that shot, man. That's literally right there. That's how he was nerfed. Rio, what do you think?
To be honest, from what I've been reading the past week, because I made a few videos on Shiva, is it really hasn't changed anything in the grand scheme of things, because people are annoyed the fact that she has a teleport and the move's unblockable. And I'm reading a lot of comments like, well, why is the move still unblockable? Yeah, the changes do this and that, but how does that help somebody that's going to keep getting hit by it? The move's still annoying. You still have to deal with it. You still have to deal with somebody choosing the character and doing the move and trying to cheese you out. So ultimately, even though you may see Shiva less in high level, like the top percent matches, I don't think this patch has really made it so the people that didn't like Shiva or weren't a fan of the game regarding her, it feels like it hasn't really done anything.
Zyphox, what do you think?
Just to clarify, Rio, I thought you could walk out of this teleport. I just literally just walk forward, walk backward. Doesn't matter what they do, you just avoid it.
Yeah, a lot of characters can, but the thing is, a lot of people just don't like the fact that Shiva has what she has in the game.
Maybe.
And I even see, yeah, but I even see people going like, well, why is the move unblockable? Like, what is the point of that? Why does the move have to be a certain way?
Well, I was gonna say that to get to my point. So these people, like, there's an actual universal way of beating this.
Hold on, can you guys actually answer the question? Again, I'm sorry, Rio. Do you think she was fairly nerfed? Yes or no?
I mean, I don't believe in fair stuff when it comes to fighting games. I've never played a fair fighting game in my life, so I don't know. I don't know what that question means, really.
The question means what the other already answered it as well. Can you answer the question? Yes or no?
I don't believe in fair stuff when it comes to fighting games.
Zyphox, what do you think? Was she fairly nerfed?
I think that if there's a universal way to beat the move, right, and you make the move.
I'm sorry, Zyphox, say yes or no question.
Right, but I'm getting literally.
Yeah, he wants to give his thoughts on the whole thing.
No, not even. It's literally coming if you just wait for 5 more seconds. I'm just saying that if that move is universally punishable, like we're claiming, then I think that she was justifiably nerfed. Justifiably, if it's universal, because now Rio brought in another point that some people either they don't know how to punish it, or they just can't, and it's not as universal as we thought, which is why I was trying to delineate and I was asking the questions. So it's justifiable for sure to nerf them the move the way it was before. If you can universally just walk back or walk forward out of it, then yeah, I think that was a good change. I think that's what they needed to do with the move, or change it completely and make it to be like a more anti-zoning move and not really one that just you kind of do and make it force your opponent to guess anywhere on screen at any given time. That's what I did not want for the move. So
yeah,
go ahead.
I just want to say, I think with Shiva's teleport, it's not if it's like actually broken or fair or not. I think it's more of the premise that people don't like the fact that, okay, she does a teleport, now I have to move forward or backwards or avoid this. I think they just don't want to do all these hoops and hurdles to deal with someone pressing down up.
But at what point are we gonna stop holding people's hands and like really holding people accountable for the like how they play? Because at the end of the day, yeah, these are just casuals or people that don't really take fighting games seriously that are getting hit by that. But just like any move, if they don't block a certain move and they keep getting hit over and over, eventually they learn to hold that R2 button down. You feel me?
But also people also end up leaving the game and stop playing it also.
I completely understand that, but at that point, as a developer, especially with this type of change, in my opinion, I don't think that's the correct assumption here. That like people can learn, right? We just need to stop holding their hands. And unfortunately, we've been holding hands for a very long time as a community, as like developers, like especially NRS. And so because now we get into a situation where we just found a universal way to punish this move and people are still complaining, if you literally can see the teleport go off your screen and you just walk forward and avoid it all the time, you have no room to criticize or say anything about the move because of course you didn't even take it to the lab and find out how to actually beat it after the patch. Not saying that, oh my god, yeah, these casuals that come in, they're not going to do that, But guess what? Just like when you put somebody in a corner and you hit them over and over with a down one, they eventually learn, wait, if I hit the R2 button, I block it. That's what's going to happen.
Right.
The hotfix just came out. Give people some time. They're going to calm down about this shit. Otherwise,
right.
it's scrubs.
What I'm saying is, of course it doesn't make sense to us because we don't have that mentality, we don't have that experience. But the thing is, from these other players, they don't care how you have to deal with something or if something is fair or not broken at the top highest level. They don't care about that. They just feel that when something is designed a certain way, it's not fun to play against. They don't care if it's the worst thing in the game, it's just not fun to deal with. Just like when you read up on RoboCop, RoboCop's another character. If you guys ever upload a RoboCop video and you read the comments, a lot of people just do not like what the character does. Run away, spam all day. It's just they don't care if he's.
Well, first of all, when it comes to Shiva,
stuff like that isn't fun to some players, no matter how it is.
Well, that's true. When it comes to Shiva, I think that move in general is so polarizing because I mean, the crying girl video has been circulated like 1 billion times. So people already feel a certain way about that move. So if it even hits them one time, sure, we could say, dude, look, you could have just avoided it like this. You just stood there, or you barely even moved. What do you know? They don't care. They don't care. They're like, why is that even hitting?
People don't want to be. They don't want to be told how they should feel about something. That's the thing.
This move,
that's why when they look at notes, yes, Shiva's stomp got like 10 different nerfs, right? They don't care about that. What they care about is why is the move still unblockable? That's what they're looking. It's like a giant target. But you addressed every other point but the main target.
I think the problem is people...
That's what's getting people annoyed.
I think the move is so polarizing at this point. People just want the move so that it can no longer hit them at all.
Yeah, what NRS should have done is they should have redesigned the move.
It sounds stupid to say that, right? Yeah. Like, I want this move to never hit, but...
For damage control, what NRS should have done is they should have redesigned the move from the ground up. Instead of nerfing it 20 different ways...
They can't do that by a hotfix, though. They can't.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is instead of them nerfing it 20 different ways and keeping the one thing that people cannot stand, they should have just made it blockable and then maybe made it recover quicker or be like plus some block, like somebody mentioned on this podcast before. Doing something like that, I think would have made a lot more people, not just the people who play this game at a high level, but everybody in general. I think it would have just calmed down the storm and made everybody finally be like, okay, Shiva's been changed in a way that now a lot of people can agree. This is no longer annoying to play against.
I just want to say something. Like, yeah, but at some point when you saw how like you guys started going down like to what was the problem, like Tom Brady's like they just don't want to get hit by it at all. You were like they don't even want to see. I'm saying they probably don't even want to see the move, and they want to see the move taken out of the game completely. There's not even in the game anymore.
Yes.
Like at
as close, they want the move removed from the game as close to that as possible.
And so I just don't think that we can reasonably listen to people like that. They're irrational.
It's too polarizing right now, right? I mean, like if somebody gets hit by it even once, no matter what they do to it, they'll find a reason why it's still stupid.
Yeah, they don't want to have somebody come and preach to them. Oh, you could just avoid it. They really don't care. Like you're just gonna add fuel to the fire.
At this point, it's so polarizing that if he even hits them once, and you say, no, they nerfed it, you could have done like this, they don't care. They're like, why is that move even in the game still? Why is that move even hitting me? I thought they patched it. That's what people are going to say.
I mean, in my opinion, if that's who you are, you're probably gonna have a rough time anyway, because those are the same people who are losing to like Sand Trap and like Liu Kang's fireballs and bullshit.
And they want those moves out of the game
But
too.
yeah, they don't like those moves.
Yeah,
Either. That's
why
the
are
thing.
we
They don't.
listening to these people?
Yeah, no one's
That's like
glorifying
playing
Gears' Sand Trap.
That's like
Yeah.
playing basketball.
And Liu
complaining
Kang's
about-
fireballs. Yeah, no one's glorifying Liu
You'll-
Kang's fireballs either. They don't like that stuff.
You'll never be able to remove enough stuff for those people to like not be annoyed. You know?
I mean, honestly, let me give you my experience dealing with these type of people. Since the very beginning of what we have today, online play, where like people are on the headset and talking back to you, I think it goes all the way back to like 2006, which is like DOA 2 Ultimate. Because Xbox Live was more everybody had a headset than like MK Deception. People complained about absolutely everything. Like you have people where if you run away from them, they're on the mic. Is that all you're gonna do? Run away? Why don't you fight me? Why don't you fight me like a man? Come over here and fight me. And then when you do, and you're comboing them, wow, that's all you know how to do? Come in, combos, same combo all day. And then when you beat them without combos, can you even do a combo? Can you even do a combo? And then you beat them with combos. That's all you can do is combos. I mean, like, no matter what you do to beat them, that's unfair. If you're doing running away from them, that's unfair. If you're rushing them down, that's unfair. If you're beating them with combos, all you do is combos. You beating them without combos, you don't have any skill because you can't do any combos. Like, what people don't realize is that group defines unfair as whatever is being used to beat them.
Yes.
Right, but also we have to mention that back then, fighting games were a lot more underground. They weren't, like, right now fighting games are becoming more mainstream. So there's going to be a lot more eyes on them, and because of social media and this whole exposure thing, word gets around quickly. That's why that Shiva thing circulated quickly, and it made everybody go like, wow, that game is a joke. Like, back then, you would play games like Modern Warfare 2 online, using the model shotguns, noob tubes, whatever, yeah, people would hate it. But now fighting games are slowly reaching to that point where they're becoming mainstream. When you have things in a fighting game that people don't like, they're going to notify everybody about it. That's why nowadays, I think fighting game developers start tuning things down to make it so they have to address the problem that makes people not like the game. That's why I'm a little puzzled that NRS kept the stomp unblockable, because not changing that one thing about it, it's not solving the whole Shiva thing that people don't like about the character.
Rio, like for example, with your suggestions, I agree 100%. Not that they would do it because it actually requires thinking and work, but I agree with you. But then people would complain, okay, why is it plus? I can't move. Look.
Yeah, but Dave, no, there's a big difference between the move being unblockable and hitting you and it being plus.
Look,
like,
I think having a
the
debate,
former is much more rage-inducing, like getting actually hit by the
I
move.
understand that. Well, especially prior to the patch, I think a lot of the stuff, to me at least, doesn't really apply to the other communities. Tekken has 7, Street Fighter 5.
Well, Tekken's not. When I look at Tekken, it's not as mainstream as Mortal Kombat yet. But once it becomes there, like, I don't know how long it's gonna take. I'm sure there's gonna be a lot more people complaining about whatever moves that probably aren't complaining about that much right now in Tekken. Because if you look at the patches like RoboCop 2, yes, they could have made his zoning better, but dude, how much worse that would have been for everybody. That's why they chose to give him another tick throw command grab, because it'd be a buff and
I think we're kind of getting off topic here. Let's talk about RoboCop. We'll talk about Shao Kahn next. So RoboCop now has 1100 health, up from 1050, and 121 used to be -8 if I'm not mistaken. Now it's -5, and also it tick throws into his command grab.
I think it's actually -3 now.
What is it?
I thought I saw -5.
Didn't they take? I thought they took 5 frames.
I tested it.
What?
No,
What?
I think it was 3 frames.
RoboCop?
Yeah,
Because before that string used to be full comp punish from
yeah,
block,
it was
if you read
-8. Now it's -5.
What, RoboCop's move?
Yeah, 121.
It was -10, now it's -5.
No, it was never.
It used to be.
-10. It was -8.
No, it was -8.
Yeah.
But
It said they
characters
took
can
off
full
5
combo.
frames.
Yeah,
It's
so they took
-5.
5 frames.
I'm
off
just,
the block.
I'm just going
No,
by.
the move was minus. Wasn't it -8?
No,
It says-
it was.
It says they took 5 frames off, so it's -5.
The move was never -10. Believe it. It was -8. It was -9 in most
Yeah.
of
Well, regardless, the move before it was full. It was full comp punish
Yeah.
by some characters. Like, it was risky to do.
Yeah, so the move, so that gives him. There's still no auto shimmy from my experience. At least doesn't work, but that does give him a safe jab string that can just throw out nothing, and he can, which by the way is not listed in the patch notes. So I'm still a bit uh wary about this because I don't know if it's intentional or not. Maybe they just changed it, but they didn't realize. Wait a minute, I can actually tick throw. Are they gonna remove?
Yeah, that's the thing. We can't tell. It could be a
Yeah,
byproduct of them being like, oh
exactly.
crap, he just has a new tick throw or not.
Yeah, because they didn't know what the
But
hell they were doing. But
yeah,
I think go ahead.
sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say they definitely are buffing the character for me for all the wrong reasons. Obviously, I don't think he needed more health. I don't associate a premier zoning character with a lot of health. That is literally unheard of. And they're buffing not his zoning or his footsies or any of his other like footsie recovery related issues. They're buffing his up close hit. It's just
Right.
insane to
Well,
me.
this goes to what I said earlier. A lot of these changes seems like they're trying to do damage control, not for the competitive 1% at the top, but for the general mass that play the game. So with RoboCop getting buffed, they gave him a better string to use up close. I played a couple RoboCops in rank this week, and they're using it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you wait for the commando, sometimes you not. They're like backdashing after it. It's giving him a lot more mind games that he didn't have before.
Yeah.
So he has a new tick throw, new offense, new safety string. These are all buffs, but not in the way some people would want for RoboCop. But it's better for the mass that plays the game. Just like with Shao Kahn. Did Shao Kahn need these specific buffs? You could argue not, but when you look at these buffs, if you're one of the players that plays this game as a mass, it's all these new shiny combos and stuff. So to them, it's like, yeah, Shao Kahn got buffed, even though it may not be what he needed for the 1% players at the top. But if you look at it, like the patches is kind of geared towards more, instead of the patches being only based on the 1%, it seems like NRS is kind of splitting it now. They're doing patch changes based on not only top players in mind, but also on what would look good to the masses.
Well, let's not jump characters. Let's just focus on RoboCop for right now. Let me ask Crimson, what do you think about the changes? How much better do you think RoboCop is?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you look at the changes RoboCop has gotten since the patch after Ultimate, like he's definitely better than he was before. How much better? I don't think he jumped up like 2 or 3 tiers. But overall, he's gotten 100 more health, and I think his string actually being safe now plus the tick grab is good for him. How good is he? Probably marginally better. Again, I think we're gonna have to see people play it out, see how people actually use these changes, and see how much better he ends up being. But for this being a hot fix, I think he made out pretty well.
RoboCop.
RoboCop. First of all, they also gave him 50 health as well. You forgot to. So you have Cetrion and
Crimson did mention it.
okay. So he's got 50 health. So that's 5% health. If 5% doesn't sound like much, I guess. More or less health matters in some way, shape, or form. Even if it doesn't come into play in every round or of every match, there is going to be a situation in which it does come into play. The 1-2-1 string is a string I guess most people think it should have always been safe. It's pretty much his main go-to string, and now it is completely safe, so I think that is good. It shows that I think, and we're going to jump to Shao Kahn in a little bit, but I think it shows that they recognize that there were some characters that everybody had been saying like they need help, and I think that obviously by a hotfix they didn't want to actually do a full-blown patch, because if they change so much that it requires a patch, then people would say, well, why didn't you just overhaul the game then if you're going to do a patch? So they wanted to do something small to avoid that. So there's only so much you can do. So they wanted to pick a couple of characters in which people were saying they needed help. RoboCop was one of them. I don't know that it helps him a ton. Like, it doesn't make him a world beater, so to speak. But I think most people feel like his main string should have, at the very least, been safe. Like, that's the least you can do. So I think they did do that. It does show that they realize that some of these characters do need some help. You can look at it as, hey, they tried to help RoboCop out a little bit here, as well as some other characters. And if they ever do a full-blown patch, like, obviously they recognize that these are areas in which characters need to be improved. is a very small step in the right direction for RoboCop. So I'm not going to say it doesn't matter at all, because again, that string does help that it's safe. But it's not, like I said. I don't think any of these changes were designed to take a character from where they are to like Cetrion level. So
I think also having it take like more than just being safe, it introduces a mind game on Black that wouldn't have been there before. And I think that is going to open up his offense a little bit. Maybe not majorly, but I think having a safe string plus being able to take the throw off it is pretty big for him.
Rio, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, like Crimson said, if you try to mash down one after the string, now you get hit by the command throw. So now it makes you want to sit there and neutral duck it or jump after, and he could do like 1-2-1 stagger backdash or 1-2-1 into down one. Like, you know, there's like this all these mind games now that he couldn't do before. So the character is better now. He didn't jump from S plus tier. Like, he's not #1 in the game, but he's better than he was before. Having 10% extra health from the day he launched this game and having a safe string, some new tick throws, I don't think that's anything bad.
Zyphox, comments on RoboCop?
I actually do like the fact that you can tick grab after that 1-2-1 because it's a mid command grab. So that just makes it to where people are just gonna have to either jump or hold a command grab after that string, and it just opens up his rush down. Which, to be honest, we remember the podcast a while ago. We were talking about how this game doesn't have any archetypes, and now they just really solidified it with RoboCop, because there's no way that you make a game like MK11 and then also make a character like RoboCop and then try to say that RoboCop's a zoner. You feel me? So
Yeah, it seems like they want him to be a rush dunker.
yeah, he's not, like, we have this idea in our mind that, like, okay, well, we've never seen RoboCop in his movies like actually like fist fight somebody. He's always using some type of weapon. So automatically, because he has all these gadgets and gears, and he has a low gunshot, he's shooting projectiles, that he's a zoner, right? And maybe we're just looking at it wrong as efficiently, because zoning in this game is so weird because of how the game works. The best zoner in the game, who's the best zoner? Is this Cetrion?
Cetrion.
Right, but she doesn't have a traditional zoning style at all, you know, and that works for her, and she has a teleport on top of that. Like, Scarlet should be the best zoner.
She's not a fireball spam character. She's more of a just keep you out and you can't get in like in her face zoner.
Exactly. Scarlet should be the best zoner, but because of how this game works, she's not. And so,
well, Zyphox, you gotta remember, she was once way better at zoning in the beta. But
oh yeah, I remember that.
People did not like that.
I do remember that. It was really hard to get in on her. But my point stands. These characters, there's no. Okay, yeah, robots. You know, RoboCop was a zoner, and so no. Every character is their own unique enigma. Really, there's everybody. You know, everybody has a projectile. Some characters don't, but for the most part, you know, we're not calling Jax a zoner. So, and then we would never. But
no, I agree. Yeah, it's more like the characters are like blended instead of being a specific archetype. We can discuss that maybe a little bit more later. I think the last character that actually has worthwhile patch hotfix patch note is Shao Kahn. And just kind of talking to my boys here, King and King Jr. locally, they're not really that impressed at all. They think he's still bad, but these changes do help a little bit. I really don't have a strong opinion on it because, he's not a character that I use or particularly care about as far as just the way he plays. But I would like to hear what you guys have to say about it. Let's start with Crimson again. Shao Kahn Crimson.
I mean, I have never played Shao Kahn, so I'm probably not the best person to comment on how exactly this changes his meta. I've heard that he has additional mind games now, but maybe Rio could speak to it because I know he's kind of done a little bit more analysis on that end.
Yeah, so in like the most generic terms, to the masses, Shao Kahn looks like way better because again, he has all these shiny new combos, and to them they're like, wow, combo launchers, meterless launchers. But what NRS did is they made his hammer lunge move where he leaps forward. He has 3 different versions. It's an overhead and it launches you, and now he gets a full combo off it. He could just do back 3, or he could do shoulder meter burns to get even bigger wall carry and more damage. And they made the move recover a lot quicker on whiff now. Like if you whiff the move now, it's actually pretty hard to whiff punish. And they buffed the meter burn part to be +1 on block. Before they used to be full combo punishable, so now that's actually +1 block. They made his low shatter move, the regular one, now has more block stun and it's a little more safe than it used to be. And if you meter burn that, it's
Can you flawless block the second hit, the meter burn version of the overhead,
yeah,
leap?
wait, yeah, the leap you can if you
Okay.
do that. But it's not, it doesn't lose its frame advantage if flawless block. You have to come off meter to punish it. And it's good because it helps them a lot because now the move recovers quicker in general. So if you play against a Shao Kahn in Combat League, what they'll do is they'll do overhead leap sometimes and then they'll mash after it. Like down 4, down 1. And because if you were thinking about flawless blocking, you're not going to be able to react in time to be like, oh, he didn't do the meter burn, now I have to move. You're gonna get hit by his poke. So it makes him definitely better in that aspect, that you have to kind of make a hard read. Like, am I going to commit to flawless blocking after, or am I going to try and take my turn from him trying to press a button after? But to go back to the low hammer shatter, they made the regular one have more blocks on, a little bit safer with more pushback. And they made the amplify part, they nerfed that from being a low to low mid, and they made the second part completely safe, but there's a gap in it. But you have to be careful because, like I said, the Shao Kahns in Combat League, they're always trying to do these dumb strats. They like to do regular low shatter. If you try to jump it to jump the second part, they have enough time to air grab you after. So you gotta watch out for all these gimmicks and things that they're doing now that they didn't have access to before. And aside from those two changes, they made his 4-3-4 -9 now instead of -12, and they made it so if you flawless block the second part, he can special cancel. So before, when you played against Shao Kahn, you could always flawless block 4-3-4 and always get a meterless full combo punish every time, no matter what he did. Now you have to use meter to punish him and get rid of it. And some characters can no longer get the full damaging crush and blow punishes that they had in him before. Like Setron, for example, if she flawless blocked that string last patch, she was doing 2-1-3, getting 50%. You're dead. And now she can't do it anymore because it's a little bit safer. So some characters lost their optimal punishes on that string.
Yeah, I was just about to ask you about the 4-3-4, but Tom, what do you think? Shao Kahn.
Shao Kahn, they gussied him up a little bit. To be honest with you, yeah, I mean the hammer lunge does help him out a little bit. The problem is, to me, he didn't need any help with that at all. Like, Shao Kahn's problems was never that, oh, you know what he needs? A meterless launcher. Like, that was never his problem. It does help because obviously now he can use meter for stuff like flawless block up 2, defensive options when he gets knocked down, and not have to worry about, now I need that meter for like shoulder or stuff like that. He does have a meterless combo starter. So I guess it does help in that aspect. But that was never his problem. His problem wasn't, man, I wish I had some way to like close the distance with a launcher. That again was never his problem. The hammer, the ground shatter is, I mean, I understand the first part. The first part of the buff is to make it recover quicker. So I got that. But the second part, to make it recover, it's safer now when you block it. They never block it. It's going to be a flawless block, or they're going to down one you through it, or they're going to short hop it, or jump it, or whatever. So I don't see the point of that. But again,
no, there's a point to it, because before, if you were to jump it or whatever, because the first part used to be so minus before, it was like minus like 30.
But the first part I said,
if you did any of those, like let's say now, like he does the second hit shatter, right? If you short hop it, go to flawless blocker or jump it, and he just does the first part and doesn't commit to the second part, you now miss your punish.
Oh no, because they can jump. They can jump back and still punish it. So he can't get the air threat.
No, what I'm saying is if you do the first part, like you just do low shatter.
Yeah, but I mean,
not
even
burn.
if they kept the second part as it was, just by buffing the first part, that would still be the case, because that.
Yeah, but before the second part was it was like minus 20 time. It was full combo punishable.
It's still full combo punishable.
So there was no mind game you needed to make.
Oh yeah, I understand that, but I mean, again, it's still not.
No, it's full combo punishable now, but you have to make a read on it. Before, you didn't have, like, you were able to OS it and always get a punish.
But again,
now you have to kind of make a read on what he wants to do to punish it.
Okay.
If you jump back, can he still air throw you or not?
Nope.
No, but if you jump back, you miss the punish on his regular low shatter. That move is like minus 18. You have to full combo that. The thing is to full combo that, you may get hit by the follow-up. So you have to do things like Tom said, jump, short hop, flawless block. But if you do jump, short hop, flawless block, then you're going to miss the punish if he just does the regular first hit and doesn't commit.
Like the typical.
So there's like a mind game as
usually
minus
those
14,
mixes are not-
most characters with that pushback are not going to punish hard at minus 14 with that kind of pushback.
Yeah, but like if you're playing Melina, for example, with Melina, I like to do forward one roll. But for me to do that, if he does the meter run part, he low profiles my forward one, so I have to jump it. But if I jump it and he does the first part, I can't punish it because by the time I land, he's able to move. So it's like a mind game.
Again,
Before there was no mind game. Before there was OSs, you could always do like if you jumped it, the first part was so minus you could land and punish him before he could recover, and then the second part would whiff and you would still punish him.
again, it's a custom move. Most Shao Kahn players didn't even put it in their loadout to begin with. I don't know that's enough to change that. But again, that was again not Shao Kahn's problem. Shao Kahn's problem is his main mid forward 3 forced him into this dumb mind game. Whereas if he does nothing off the forward 3, he's dead. If he does forward 3 shoulder, which he has to do to stop you from punishing forward 3, he's dead. If he does forward 3-4 instead, he's dead if you block it. He's dead if you flawless block it, which is still the case now. And now, of course, he can do like shoulder. So I think the main purpose of taking those. So to me, originally I looked at it and I said, I don't see the purpose in taking off just 3 frames because forward 3-4, whether it's minus 12 or minus 9, is being punished the exact same way. 7, 8 frame jabs, full combo punish. I think the reason why they took the 3 frames off wasn't really to make forward 3-4 safe. It was to make it so if he does forward 3-4 shoulder or annihilation, that when you flawless block or whatever it is, you don't get your poke out before he can shoulder you. So I think that's what the purpose is of taking the 3 frames off. They wanted to take off just enough so that with the cancel advantage, the shoulder or whatever it is uninterruptible. Again, is it an additional layer of mind game, quote unquote? Sure. Okay, I got it. But can they punish it every time with flawless block up too? Sure. Does that mean they got to spend the bar now where they didn't before? Sure. But at the end of the day, all they did was add another layer to Shao Kahn's mind game problem. I'm dead, so I have to put my life bar on the line because I'm dead anyway. So Shao Kahn's whole mind game off just about all of his stuff up close is, I'm dead, I'm dead, I'm dead, I'm dead. Oh, well, now you can always do stuff like this, including off the forward 3-4, shoulder. And if they don't up to you, whatever. But again, for doing the shoulder, if they block it, he's dead. And it's like, it's not so much of a mind game because it's like he's dead if he doesn't do it, and he's dead if he does do it. Now,
So
of course,
it's kind of like the raid and stuff, right? Is that kind of what you're implying?
yeah, I mean, I understand, like, hey, it's one more layer to that he did not have, which if you wanted to make sure you always got the punish, you would need to spend the bar. I get that, sure, and that does help a little bit, but it's just another layer. So now layer 3 is the same as layer 1 and 2. So he has layer 1 off the forward 3, where he's dead, but he can finish the string, which he's dead, or shoulder, which he's dead. But of course, you have to block that. So if you try to punish the forward 3, he finishes it and he punishes you. If you stay blocking, he does the forward 3-4, and you're dead, he punishes you. And now it's the same thing. Now if forward 3-4, if you try to punish that, he punishes you with shoulder or something like that. And if you stay blocking, then he does forward 3-4 shoulder, he's still dead. So now there's a third layer to that mind game. But my problem is that he has to do it, otherwise he's dead. So he's dead if he doesn't, he's dead if he does, and it's like, what's the mind game? What's he going to do? And it does help, but when you're going up against the top characters in the game, that's not going to help him any. He's going to be wrong on that 1,000 times more than he's right. And that's the fact that he has to do it to keep himself safe. But if he does do it, he's still dead anyway. I just don't see why Shao Kahn needs that. I don't understand the logic of if we gave Shao Kahn some type of like safe mind games in close, he would be broken. Shao Kahn is supposed to be devastating up close, yet even with this, he's still more. He's less devastating than Cetrion, less devastating than Jackie, less devastating than pretty much every character, most of the top characters, all the top characters in close. My only thing I take from this is it is a hotfix. So I'm not going to judge it too harshly because it shows that, hey, they have recognized, guys, Shao Kahn players, we do hear you. Look, we realize you need some help. So we're showing you, we identify Shao Kahn needs a lot of help, and you can tell that by looking at he got the most changes in this game trying to buff him up. Now, you can put a positive spin on this and say, well, it shows that when they do finally patch the game, Shao Kahn, obviously they see they need to move him in a certain direction when they can do a lot more. But we have no clue if they're ever going to patch it. So we don't know if this is the end. We could assume, sure it is, and I guess we'll get to this later. But you know what they say about assuming, so...
Yeah, also, I think we should mention that if they give Shao Kahn what people want, like 4-3-4 no gap -5 like Jackie String, then he wouldn't need all this other fluff around him. So if you give him that, does he really need the overhead leap launcher? Does he need his low hammer to have this and that? Does he need all these other buffs? You just give him that and that's all he needs, right? And then you don't have to give him anything else. So it would make the character a lot more one-dimensional, even though, yeah, he probably would move up tiers because of that one change.
I think they gave him what they could because it's a hotfix, not a patch. So they tried to do something for him.
Yeah, but I think even in the hotfix, they could have just made 4-3-4 completely safe and made it quicker so there's no gap.
That's right, Tom. They could have.
I think they chose not to do that because they want to probably buff the character overall around instead of just giving him one thing and then moving on.
Well, let's not talk about...
Because theoretically, yeah, they could make Shao Kahn super good. If they made his 4-3-4 like Jackie's 4-3-1, then that's like, okay, now you have this MK11 character.
Well, let's, we have talked about that before. Let's give Zyphox a chance to respond to, Zyphox, what do you think about Shao Kahn? Give us your comments.
Yeah, I'm getting major deja vu, by the way. I feel like I've done this before.
I know,
right?
Oh,
come on, man.
I don't want to even talk about
Let's
this.
not go back to that. Let's not go back to that.
Yeah.
I'm saying that because my answer is literally going to be like...
Yeah, we all have the same answer.
The 4-3-4... Yeah. I don't understand why they don't just make it safe on block. We already know what the problem was. Why give them the extra fluff for all this reason? Like, I feel like if you can make all these changes to the frames, then it would just be as easy as making the cancel advantage of between the 4-3 and the 4 part of the move to, change the values of it, make sure there's no gap, make it to where it's -7 or -5 or whatever the case may be, and then wipe your hands off and be like, okay, we buffed Shao Kahn, we did something, guys, pat yourselves on the back. But unfortunately, they're like, wait, guys, someone in that meeting room when they went to go hotfix this was like, but then do we really want to do that? And they just chose not to do that for some reason. I don't understand. This character should have been fixed since day one. The character, what? Let me ask you guys a question. What would happen if this actually came to fruition? Like, Shao Kahn has all the buffs that he got since the beginning of the game, which is literally like a whole list. And then his 4-3-4 is completely safe. He gets to check you like everybody else in the cast, for the most part, while keep maintaining safety. Is that just going to be like, wow, Shao Kahn top 5?
If you give him 4-3-4 no gap safe, he wouldn't need all this other fluff. That's all he needs.
But just even imagine, give him all the fluff and still let that be like, is he a top 5 character?
Well, then that'd be overkill then, because then people are gonna be like, here's the thing: when you make a new character top tier, let's say Shao Kahn has 4-3-4 safe mid up close. The character has pretty good jump ins, pretty good wake ups, all this other stuff, good punishing. If you do noobs back 1/1+3 string, you die no matter what you do. Doesn't matter how you space it. He has all these perks and tools, but now he has better damage than some of the top tiers up close, and he has a super fast mid with no risk. So the thing is, like, do you want to give people another thing to bitch about? or do you just want to make Shao Kahn good in a way that would make him be a little bit different than how you could generically?
To this point, and this is the
So honestly, no, I agree. What they should have done was 2 years ago, the first buff he ever got, 434 safe, no gap, and that's it. Shao Kahn's now done. He's now a really good character. He needs nothing else for the rest of the game's life. He's just complete.
I feel like they did this because, and again, Zyphox, I made this point the last time, was, people will say Shao Kahn needs all this help, but the minute they actually give him that kind of help, then people will say, why did they do that? Shao Kahn was better than...
and also they're probably going to be going like, why is he getting 40%
Hold
off
up,
this?
the classic. A character, they need all of this help, and when they actually get the help, why did they do that? These fools were saying he's the worst. Let's be serious.
They're so
here.
lazy. They did the laziest change now.
Shao Kahn was probably like number 11 on the tier list, and everybody said he was the worst, and now he's probably the best. No one played him right. That's what people do. Like, whenever a character that's actually needs help gets help, the community pulls the, come on, was he really that bad? No. And then he got all these buffs. People just didn't play him right. Like, any character in the game, people would dig. People right now are complaining about Melina, right? If they ever buffed Melina, I mean, she was probably top 10, just nobody knew it, and then they got all these. I mean,
I want to
that's
get
what
into
we do.
something, because the whole Melina thing is leading... What I'm saying earlier, this whole... You have to please the mass audience now. What do you think would be more appealing to all the casuals who play the game right now? Reading 2 changes to Shao Kahn, where it says 434 gap removed and safe on block, or reading changes that go like new combo boys, new swag combos, new corner beat. Like, obviously the latter seems more appealing if you don't play a game like super, you're not into it, you just want to see the shiny cool stuff.
Yeah.
So I think NRS is trying to make Shao Kahn one of the better characters, but in a way that's going to require more effort, because they're going to have to buff a lot more things around him to make him go up, instead of just taking the lazy generic way where it's like, yeah, Shao Kahn now has a string better than Jackie and he gets more damage off it, and that's it. That's the character. I think that'd be more boring.
The problem is that in this game, there are only so many things that you're allowed to be good at. You can't have good Oki because that doesn't exist in this game. You can't have good zoning that doesn't exist in this
Well,
game.
some characters have good Oki, actually.
No, they don't. You're not allowed to have...
Devore doesn't have good Oki?
She
Or
doesn't.
Jackie.
No, she doesn't.
Wait, how does Devore not have good Oki? You can't do anything when she knocks
Not
you down.
like
She puts her bug out.
Not like oppressive Oki like there was in MKX. There's
But
no...
this game isn't MKX.
I know, but that's why you need to have archives.
No, I'm just correcting you, saying that no character in this game can do anything when they knock you down. Some characters actually do have strength
Correct
in
me
that.
when I make
Like
a
Devore.
I know, you can correct me when
Devore,
I make
I'm correcting you. Devore is a good Oki character. She knocks you down. I don't know what Devores you play
Jackie
against, but when you get knocked down by her,
wake up system.
Yeah,
you have
a lot
to
of
you have to
characters.
respect what
Jackie.
Devore does. You can't mash on Devore.
Cetrion deals
She knocks
with
you
it well.
down. She puts her
resteams
bug out.
you.
She's plus 100.
I'm
You can't move.
referring to like oppressive Oki, like for example, Tremor used to have, or Sub-Zero, like where you are really, really,
Okay, so instead of you saying this game has no Oki, why don't you just say, why doesn't this game have MKX Tremor knockdown? Say that instead.
No,
so we know
not
what
for
you
every
mean.
character is MK. Well, not for every, but some characters. Again, that's just one example. Like you can mention zoning, you can mention like armor.
Yeah, I get that, but you saying this game has 0 Oki for any character
To
in the
me,
game
it-
is not.
to me,
It's misleading.
To me, it doesn't.
Because whenever I play against Devores in Combat League, I wish that was true.
Let me talk. Like you made your point. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm correcting you, so you don't spread false information to people that listen.
Shut up for a moment. So the game has no Oki. The game is limited to no zoning. The game has really no.
The game has zoning for some characters.
The game has no zoning. The game.
It has zoning for some characters. Come on, dude, at least tell the truth.
Can I talk? I'll let you talk. I didn't interrupt anybody the whole podcast. Even
Yeah, but if I'm here talking, I'm like, guys, Shao Kahn's top tier. I'm just going on. You guys aren't going to say anything about that and correct me?
I mean, you said plenty of stuff that I disagree with. I didn't interrupt you. So anyway, the game has no Oki. The game has no zoning. The game is very limited.
The game has no zoning and 0 Oki.
Excuse me. The game has very limited standing defense because there's no armor attack. So some characters could actually be very good at that, but the game doesn't allow you to, because you can only do low poke, you can jump, you can flawless block, and mid string, or if you have a commander, you can use that. That's it. It's like there's so many things that Shao Kahn can be good at. Like then it starts repeating itself. No wonder King Jr. wants the same thing that makes Jackie good, because he realizes, okay, not that I'm defending Shao Kahn having that, but it's like, yeah, I mean, I'm not to have this and that and that. Like, can I have this? Like, Jackie has it. So, of course, like, he wants that for, he wants a fast mid that safe they can just spam and mix up with his throw, because that's what the best characters do. So, why shouldn't he be able to have it?
That's not what all the best characters do, actually.
Yeah, it's not. But I think most importantly, like, we're forgetting that people directly ask them not to do that. Right? Remember all the talk around this was like, yo,
They said they wanted Shao Kahn to be good in a creative way, not a
they
boring
were like,
Jackie way.
yo, they're probably just gonna take the lazy way out, and every character in this game is the same, so they're just gonna make them the same as every other character. And that's what they're not doing. Like they actually listened to the people who said, please don't do this. So now here we are. Now this path is longer. If you notice, they've been touching certain characters like in multiple patches in a row or multiple hotfixes in a row. So these probably won't be the only changes that are ever made to Shao Kahn. But this is the path that people asked for, and this is the path that they're taking.
Can we just because I have a lot to say, like all this topics as a whole, and I'm gonna put the game up even more because it's coming. But I do wanna. I think we can agree that Joker there's not much to talk about. There's just 5% less health for him. For
Yeah.
Fujin, they adjusted the victim regions of knee buckler down front. I think which is down 3. Um, I think it's supposed to low profile less, from what I understand. Well, that's the case. I don't know. I have to do some more research. I don't think anybody's done too much research into it. And then we have Setsuyan. And I do want to mention, the controversial comment that Tekken Master made on Twitter. She has 5% less health, and they slightly reduce the damage when blocked and flawless blocked of Deadly Winds and Deadly Winds Amplified. So Tekken Master came out and said that I don't have the tweet in front of me, and I apologize. But he says like some people are gonna drop her to the I'm paraphrasing, I'm not quoting. Some people are gonna drop her. She's not as good as she used to be. Don't be surprised if people stopped using her. Something to that extent. Let me just go through everybody real briefly, if you guys don't mind. Is she a lot? Is she quote unquote not worth picking? Crimson.
Yeah, I think that's kind of ridiculous. I think she still she still does everything that she was doing before. She still has the same exact game plan. Like everything is the same. All is different. This is a slight step in I think the right direction, which is remember before when we were talking about this and everyone was like, "Oh my god, like they're gonna nerf her to the ground. She's gonna be another boring character and stuff like that." Well, in my opinion, they haven't done that to most of the top tiers. Like from Liu Kang, Setrion, like multiple times Jackie. Most of the top tiers actually get fairly minimal nerfs, and they've been really conservative with dropping characters from top tier super far down. Now, one of the biggest problems with fighting Cetrion to this point, besides the fact that she's safe, is that she's safe and she does a lot of chip damage. And she does it both from the zoning and also she does it on pressure. So I think that reducing her chip damage in any way, at least starting with Deadly Winds here, actually is a good step in the right direction because she still can, she can play her game plan. They didn't take away her tools. She just gets slightly less for it when you add it up over time. But to say that 50 less health and slightly reduced chip on Deadly Winds is like, the character, everyone's gonna drop her, she's not the same. I think that is not true at all.
I agree. Tom, what do you think, though?
I think she was. She's. I mean, the chip damage is very very slightly changed. Like it's not like they. My God, she barely does anything now. I mean, the chip damage, whether like when you flawless block before it did less than 1%. So it went from doing less than 1% to less than 1%. So it doesn't really matter. I don't know how much it did before, but it does.
It did 4% before. It was 2% each hit.
Like 19 or 20 or something like that.
12 and 17, and it does 12 and 15 not without the EX. So it's not. So it's again less than 0.5% difference. So to me, I don't think it's the end of the world. Not to the point where like people would look at her and be like, oh my God, she's not worth picking up anymore. I don't really think that's the case. But I mean, again, 5% health nerf. I mean, I guess that's like the thing to do. They did it with Jackie, did it with whatever. So I think they wanted to do that with Cetrion. I don't really know I don't know. I don't think it was that big of a deal. Her changes.
Yeah, let's be honest. It's still the same character.
Yeah. I would say
Yeah.
so.
What's ironic to me is both Shiva and Cetrion are pretty much equally complained about. While
Okay, wait. Shiva's way more complained than Cetrion.
with the casuals, yes, just because it's unblockable and whatever. But at top level, Cetrion is complained about at top level the exact same amount that Shiva is complained about at the mid level and bottom level.
Yeah, but for every top player complaining about Cetrion, there's 1,000 casuals
The
complaining about
difference
Shiva.
is, if all those Shiva players right now went to Cetrion, those same people crying about Shiva would cry about Cetrion just as bad. So, Cetrion is complained about, if not as much, close to the amount of Shiva. But if you look at the changes they got, it just seems like Cetrion doesn't have her crying girl meme moment, so she got to live to fight another day. And maybe this could be, look, we want a hot. So like they might be saying maybe they are planning to patch the game in the future, and they really have planned to do XYZ to Cetrion, so they figure, look, let's do a little bit to her now, so at least it shows that we're trying to do something, and then maybe we have a major update in the future.
Well,
I don't know.
I think the reason why is what I was saying before, is that no one cared how good Shiva was. They really didn't care. This had nothing to do with Shiva. With Cetrion, people actually do care how good that character is, because she has so many tools combined together that combine
Yeah,
together.
if you enter a tournament, you have to play against Cetrion.
Yeah, but people cared about Dragon Drop and Dragon Drop only. That was the only concern. It was never how good Shiva was, or oh my god, like this character, she just has so many tools or whatever. It was literally, I hate this move, get this move out of the game. And I think that's why, because that move was her game plan, I don't think there's no particular move for Cetrion that's like the X factor, the one where it's like, this is the reason why I'm losing. It's just everything put together. Whereas with Shiva, it was obvious. Everyone wanted that move out. They hit the move, and that's what they wanted to do.
Well, if there are any, it would probably be Deadly Winds, and they are nerfing it, I guess. So, but Rio, what do you think about the Cetrion changes?
Yeah, look, from what I've seen, what I've been reading, people think Cetrion has not been nerfed enough. Like, her zoning hasn't really been toned down. From what I'm seeing, people want her zoning toned down. They want her rock wall to be nerfed. They want her boulders to be nerfed.
I know,
But
let's talk about the. I'm
in
sorry,
keeping,
what do you
in
think?
keeping
I
it
understand
real,
what people think. What do you think?
I'm getting there, Dave. I'm getting
Okay.
there, Dave. With Cetrion keeping it real, yeah, she's worse than she was before, obviously. I mean, she's not better than she was last patch, but she's still top tier, so it's not really going to matter. Like, what, maybe a couple Cetrion players are going to drop her to pick up, I don't know, Fujin or something, but aside from that, she's slightly worse, but she's still top tier, so it doesn't really make that much of a difference.
Zyphox?
Yeah, this is just a slap on the wrist, honestly. I don't really understand how you could be like, yeah, well, character has 5% less health, so therefore just struggle bus. Like, no, that just makes no sense. It's literally like less chip, and then you now, okay, fine. Maybe if you run into RoboCop and then he has 15% more life than you, you're somehow, no, what? Like, that makes no sense. Cetrion players, like, in order for you to even like pick Cetrion on the character select screen, something is already gone on in your mind mentally. So it has to be the case.
I want to win. That's what's going on.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Funny.
it's true. I think more concerning to me, like overall, if I want to sum this patch up.
Well, let me ask the question. I want to get direct answers from
Okay.
people. And it goes along with the patch, and I'm sorry, the hotfix. I keep saying patch. I want to ask everybody, and be as specific as you possibly can. Does this hotfix make you play the game more or less? And if so, do you think the game is better off or better, or do you think it's worse off? Crimson.
Honestly, for me, since I main characters that are outside the scope of this patch, it has no effect. Like, if I didn't like the game, this wouldn't make me like it. And if I enjoy the game, which I do, like it doesn't make me like it any less. I think, like we said before, right? This is a hot fix. They said it was going to be a small change. This is not something that significantly changes any of the considerations that we've been talking about for the last however many weeks. And I think we should probably talk about why this is happening. In my opinion, there were three things that came together all at the same time to kind of drive a stake into the heart of being able to make significant changes to the game. The first was in the run up to launch, somebody came out and wrote that article about how NRS is overworking their employees and they changed something. They either reduced hours or changed schedules so that people felt they weren't being forced to crunch all the time. Now, that would have been fine were it not for COVID, right? They started this game off, they were taking a really conservative approach to all of the patches. And that's fine if you keep doing it more frequently. But the problem was, after COVID hit, everyone had to go home. And when everyone had to go home, they lost a lot of testers. They also had testers who you can't trust with builds, right? Like, you just can't give these people builds of unreleased stuff with major changes in it when they're contract employees, right? They may be gone in a month or two. Like, the temptation for people to leak things and to let things out before they're supposed to be out is far too big. And then the third thing that happened was they actually lost some key employees. So right now they're in a mode where they're rebuilding the team. So given that, between the fact that they had already reduced hours and schedules, the fact that they got hit by COVID, and again in a way that Japanese companies have not been, because most of them are not on lockdown over there, and the fact that they lost a bunch of employees that they have to replace, I think their primary focus right now is rebuilding the team. So that gives them two options, right? If you don't have the personnel and people aren't in the office and you can't do a big patch, you either do nothing and just say, we're going to wait until we're back at full strength, and then we're going to really go in there and patch the game. But until then, you guys are going to get nothing. Or you do what they're doing now, which is say, listen, we can't do the big patch, but we're gonna drip feed content, right? Every month or so, we're gonna release a hotfix. We're gonna address some things that people are talking about. We're gonna make some things slightly better and slightly worse. So I would much rather see them do this than do absolutely nothing until whenever the big patch is. And I think at the end of the day, yes, it doesn't change anything either way. But when all these little patches add up, the effect on the game, balance-wise, will be much better than if they leave it completely and abandon it for months until whatever happens, happens.
Well said. Tom?
I think these little patches do absolutely nothing.
I know, but he's got a point. I'm sorry to interrupt. Like, he's got a point as far as it's better than to do nothing. Like, but first, please address the question, and then you can
Okay,
follow up.
repeat the question again.
Do you like the game more or less because of this patch, and do you think it's better or worse off?
The day that people have been complaining about the silence of NRS, the day they break that silence, the MK community reacted by saying, fuck Mortal Kombat 11. Everybody, just about everybody, took turns on streams playing MKX, saying how terrible Mortal Kombat 11 was, how boring Mortal Kombat 11 was. That was their reaction to this. Their reaction to NRS saying, here's what we're doing, was save your breath. Nobody likes your game. And literally, that's almost verbatim what most people were saying on their stream. I'm not going to call any names, but a lot of people were on stream saying the game is boring, this doesn't change, they're just doing a hot fix, whatever. At the end of the day, NRS could do 1,000 hot fixes between now and the end of the game's life, and it would do nothing. Because people's main problem with the game is not hot fixable. Now, if you want to look at it from, if they're doing this until the big patch, just to kind of show, hey, listen, whatever, sure. But at the end of the day, that's the problem. We don't know if there's a big patch. What they're doing is string you along, string you along, string you along, and if there's no big patch, shame on us for whatever. I think What they should have done is put in the tweet. I mean, they let you know it was going to be small to temper expectations. They could have just said something like, "But major changes, stay tuned for major changes. More on this coming soon." And we would at least know, okay, they're planning for major changes, because what they've done here is set themselves up in a bad spot. Because with these little hot fixes, the expectations of, oh man, maybe they're planning something big. And because we're not going to get whatever that big surprise is until after the Pro League, so now we have to wait the rest of May, all of June, all of July, because, while the Pro League ends first week of June, then you have the top 8 qualifiers, top 16 man, the finals. That's going to be running into the month of July more than likely. So we won't get a patch until end of July, August. So we have to wait 4 more months for another whatever, because there's so much time in between one thing or another. And this would be, 7, 8, 9 months, 10 months post Ultimate. People would be expecting like the overhaul of all overhauls. So if NRS's big patch is, we wanted to keep, this, what was the line they used, Dave, back then? We're happy with a lot of the meta, so we only wanted to shake up a few things. That would be the end of the game. That on that day would be the last day Mortal Kombat 11 breathes any life. Because people are expecting this major overhaul, right? I mean, even with this hotfix, people were saying, I want to see reslotting of moves. I want to see moves do this and that. And of course, that's not possible by a hotfix. These are what people are expecting if a major update comes. So what this patch does is, if there is a major update, it just boosts the expectation of that times 1,000, considering we're going to wait God knows how long. But what I think frustrated people is, again, no communication. Here's a hotfix. When are we getting something else? Silence. Now we have to wait 4 or 5 more months before we get another tweet telling us they're going to do something else. And the thing is, we don't know. We don't know for look. You can definitely say it's safe to assume maybe we might get something. They've done a couple of small minor things post Ultimate. But is it really safe to assume that? I don't know. And my number one problem is, I think I finally realized why they don't have a roadmap. It's 100% true what CrimsonShadow was saying. These other companies in Japan or whatever, they came off lockdown before NRS. NRS literally had 12 straight months of lockdown. So of course, when idiots like me are pounding the table, where's the content? I'm literally making demands of a studio that is unable to go into work to do it. But now, to me, it's not a matter of when they do it, it's if they do it. A lot of people have made the argument that Capcom had a roadmap. So even though they had the pandemic, when they came off lockdown, because they had a roadmap promising X, Y, and Z, even though they were behind in Street Fighter 6, they had already promised X content to the people, so they had to make good on it. Same thing with Tekken.
Just to be clear, there was barely a lockdown in Japan at all. In fact, a lot of people in Japan were angry because they were saying we should maybe lock down, and they weren't locking down.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking. I understand the time. I understand NRS time-wise was on lockdown. I'm not talking about lockdown versus no lockdown. I'm saying regardless of how long you were locked down, when you eventually went back to work, 1 month, 2 months, 5 months, 1 year, when they eventually went back to work, a lot of people have made the argument that one of the main reasons why they went through with this overhaul is it was promised by a roadmap.
What I'm saying is there's no eventually in Japan. It's not like they were on lockdown for 6 months and then came back just earlier.
I don't care if it's a day or a year.
There was no lockdown. Like, this just wasn't a thing. They just
okay, it doesn't matter. The bottom line is this pandemic did for a fact cause delays in Street Fighter 6. 100%. But a lot of people's argument was, well, Capcom, let's not pretend they're saints here. They made people wait 5 years for a patch, for an overhaul. And they probably wouldn't have even overhauled the game, seeing as how they fell behind in Street Fighter 6 in the pandemic, if they hadn't promised an overhaul by a roadmap. The same thing was said for Namco. But the thing about NRS is,
You gotta
NRS.
wrap up your time. You gotta wrap up your answer.
I'm trying to, man.
I know you should have been done 2 minutes ago.
All right, go ahead, man. Go ahead, because why ask question? I mean, like, what is
Rio-
this? Jeopardy? Ding, ding. We got. Okay, go ahead, man. No,
Rio,
don't worry
go
about it.
ahead.
Don't worry about it. Go ahead, man.
What is your
We gotta wrap.
response?
I'm sorry, what's the
Rio,
question?
be quiet. Rio, what is your the question is, do you think the game is better or worse off because of this hotfix? Do you see the game in a better or worse light?
I mean, it's a hard question to ask. 'Cause so, to me, when I look at games,
Got
I don't
5
look at
minutes,
it
man.
in
You
a
gotta
general
answer it
scope.
fast.
Right, but when I look at a game, I don't look at things in general scope. I look at it from very specific angles, like character to character angles. So, I mean, is the game better if you're a Jade player? I mean, does it matter? Your character didn't get touched. Is the game better if you're Shao Kahn? Yeah, it was better than it was last patch. For me, it doesn't affect me because I don't play any of the characters that were changed. It hasn't affected if I play the game more or less every week. I still play Combat League 4 times a day. 4 days a week. So yeah, this patch really hasn't had zero effect on me.
Fair enough. Zyphox, what about you? I know you don't play the game very often. Did it make you encourage you to play it, or are you still couldn't you care less about the game?
Well, with MK11, um, just in general, every single time there's an update or a patch, I'll try it and see what happens. You know, just to see if there's any changes that I like or anything. I actually do kind of like this RoboCop change. I'm not gonna lie to you. I might pick up RoboCop and just play and have a little fun with him because I've always wanted to play him, but I was like, oh, they want to make him a zoner, but then zoning in this game is not as powerful, and the keep away, and now they gave him like a tick throw off of that that string, and they made something safe, like, and now he has he has so much health. Like I'm just gonna literally like play like a bully RoboCop how I wanted to kind of play him. Now that I'm even in the lab right now as we speak. So yes, this patch did have, or sorry, this hotfix did have a positive influence on me, particularly with RoboCop.
Yeah, I will say this though, like regarding patches, I honestly think it doesn't matter what they do to MK11. Doesn't matter if they have all these patches coming out because it seems like everybody already moved back to MKX anyway. So what's the point?
Well,
I mean,
let me, if I may, I think that for me, MKX is not my type of game. You guys know me personally. I would never suggest that it is. But when you have, arguably, in my opinion, and many other people, what's literally considered to be the worst fighting of this generation, easily. I was watching a match on, I think it was one of the Procom East or the West, I don't remember. When I see people going for a combo and then they break and then they get combo in return, I literally get sick. I have to shut down the stream, otherwise I'm gonna puke. Like I am so disgusted with this game beyond belief. And this
That's funny considering you played a character that
How are
would
we gonna
combo
go
people.
through this podcast and not address the biggest issue, which
Well,
is
hold
what
on,
I was trying to talk about?
I
Even
know
though,
you need. I understand that you need to limit your responses, so because you talked twice.
well,
as
it's a
much as
it's
they
a
are.
No, what I was
it's a
saying is-
big issue, so it's
I
hard
know,
to limit
then
your response
give
when it's
us
a big
the-
issue.
It's again. Everybody else does. It is expected that you do the same thing.
Okay,
The
so
point is,
then we're not going to talk about it then.
I know, and you're still interrupting me right now.
You interrupted me. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
You
You let me know when we're going to talk about that issue. You let me know.
I will let you know. Now be quiet. So
I just wanted to quickly say I find it
Please do it.
ironic how Dave is like foaming at the mouth of seeing people get punished for hitting people when literally his character Tremor does the same thing but worse in MKX.
I know he does that by design, and not everybody does it. It's just him. And I understand some people don't like MKX. They had rather play MK11. If they truly feel that way, they can say it on this podcast. Nobody's stopping them. I'm not encouraging anybody to play any other game. I'm just saying there are a lot of people like me who are disgusted with this game, who wouldn't want to touch it with a stick. We don't like this game. We want it changed. However, I'm a very patient person, and they can take as much time as they want. I'm not rushing anybody. I wanna empathize. I don't want anybody overworked or anybody, uh, not paid for their efforts and their work. I will wait until December if I have to. But until then, yes, I'm going to criticize the game because it disgusts me. And if Tom wants to continue off my point or another one, go ahead, please.
Well, I think.
So you guys don't want to comment on everybody going back to MKX?
Yes, that's what we're commenting. I'm okay with that. I think
But
people don't necessarily like MKX, but they would rather, they would rather, if they have to deal with a piece of shit, at least it's one instead of three pieces of shit, which is MK11.
I mean, really, what
Go
you're
ahead.
talking about, just so everyone knows, what we're talking about is Twitch rivals. Like, it's not like people just suddenly started liking MKX. Like, there's a big tournament coming up, organized, I guess, by Maximilian in combination with, is it Mr. Aquaman or someone like that?
For
Anyway,
many people, it has nothing to do with that. For many people, it has nothing to do with the tournament.
for the vast majority
Yeah,
of
Dave
people,
is saying that a lot of people went back to MKX because the game is just better than MK11.
Yes.
Nothing to do with like a
Yeah,
tournament.
that's right. It is. To me, it
the
is at least.
vast majority of people that are playing
You don't
MKX,
have that again. You haven't done the studies. I haven't done the studies either. I know at least locally. Talking about our players that we have, everybody had rather play MKX than MK11. And by the way, it has nothing to do with the money at all. Nothing.
Well, yeah, I can't talk about your local scene. I can just talk about the national scene. The national scene, most of the people who are playing right now are playing because of that tournament. And after that tournament, they will drop the game.
Wait, there's a few people in that who are alternates to alternates to alternates. Some of them have basically almost never even played the game, and yet they're in the
And-
exhibition, which is
And
kind
a
of
lot
weird.
of them are.
Wait. Is what I heard Tom say correct? There's people in this MKX tournament thing that didn't play MKX?
that
Yeah.
never really competed. Yes,
That doesn't make any sense. That's weird.
And a lot
That's
of
like
them-
imagine
because
they had
couldn't get like whatever. So they basically for some slots they went with alternates, and they couldn't get those alternates. So they went to alternates.
How many
to the
spots is
alternates.
it? Is it 32 players for this MKX
Yeah, but
event?
31 are invites.
Yeah, there's an
So
LCQ
there's
for
not
last
31 MKX players they can find?
There
No,
are some people that were pretty much blocked. That they were like, we would want to use them, but they're blacklisted, blackballed, whatever you want to call them, for one reason or another.
Are
So
you one of those people?
I'm 100% one of those people. But we all look. I'm not going to go into why I'm like the most hated player.
I'm
ever
just
living in
asking the
Mortal Kombat.
question.
I'm not getting
Tom,
into
and I
that.
think if you are, you should talk about it.
But no, I don't want to. And
Tom, you're not the most hated. You're actually the most liked. It's actually the opposite.
I'm the most. Get out. That's not true.
No, dude, do you never read the podcast comments? You're the most liked. not
Until you
hated.
go on TYM and read the comments. But the truth is that there are a few people who I would have liked to see in this, who I have no clue why they're not in there.
Like who?
Again, I know Tweety's not in. I think Tweety should be in for sure.
Why wouldn't Tweety be in this?
I mean, again, I don't want to.
He was one of the best MKX players
Yeah.
during the game's prime. I don't know. To me, it's going to be weird to watch this MKX tournament and not have the best MKX players that used to play like crazy when the game was out. Like, Sonic Fox, Denzel,
like the top,
Forever
like
King, like
Ninja-
all like
Ninja Killer
yeah,
Ninja.
Hayate.
like
Hayate.
there are like normally I wouldn't care because if it was like the top 10 players, I don't belong in that discussion. So like whatever. But there are 31 players, and they also put in consideration like they don't want people from places in the world in which the connection is not going to do well against other people. So they tried to, I think, mostly stay within the continental United States for the most part. I don't think I don't think whatever. So with that in mind, I know people are going to be like, Tom, you were trash in the game. Why would you be in? But in reality, they pulled the scene back then and ranked the top 32, I was in the bottom end of that top 32. Like I was one of the better, although not one of the best. So if they're doing like a top 16, top 8, top 10, I don't belong in that discussion, and I certainly wouldn't expect to be in there. What was weird is some of the people that I talked to that I was surprised didn't get picked. The information I got was they went for alternates to alternates to alternates because instead of picking some of those people, like the two top streamers of the game were myself and Rio back in MKX. We were pulling like Sonic Fox MK11 numbers in MKX. An hour streamed, we had the two most. There were also other people who were very influential, whether they were influencers or other top streamers in there.
Tom, Rio doesn't like the game. Why would he play a game that he hates?
Okay, but there were other people that do,
He feels the way about MKX that the way I feel about MK11.
But
So
there
why
are
would they
some.
invite?
Well, actually, that's not true because I actually played MKX for the entire game's life.
Foxy,
You couldn't even last a
Foxy
year with
They
MK11.
didn't ask Foxy.
So you can't. Yeah, you don't compare myself to you.
Yeah, I mean they didn't
No,
ask
I'm
Foxy.
just saying all
they
the.
didn't
I'm
ask
just
Tweety.
considering. I understand. I'm just because he called me out. I'm just responding because.
No, I'm not calling you out. I'm just correcting you.
Yeah, I'm just saying that.
Let me correct you as well because you literally mentioned.
You quit MK11 a year in. I stuck with MKX from the day
and-
MK11 was released.
And that's 100% accurate. But I'm just saying, why would they call somebody who obviously doesn't like the game, regardless?
I'm
of,
not asking to be called.
But
though.
I mean, it doesn't matter.
I know,
They also didn't ask Tweety. They didn't ask Foxy. They didn't ask like
Probably
people
also
like
not
I was
common
just
knowledge too.
I was just surprised. Like, why wouldn't someone?
Yeah, like Honeybee should be in that. Foxy should be in that. Michelangelo should be in that. All the best players that used to sweat like blood and tears and all this and travel to compete the game like crazy, they should be in it. But I think it's not that kind of tournament. I don't think they're doing a tournament with the past best MKX players that played during the prime. I think they're doing it to see the current best MKX players in 2021.
What does it
So I
matter?
think it's a different tournament.
No one actively like grinds the game like they did back then. Even today's
No, there's people that grind the game in MKX. You just don't know about.
even
them.
today's
There's people
players
that-
who grind the game. It's not this grinding the game when there's no tournament scene is not the same as grinding when there's like a sweaty tournament scene. It's not the same.
Well, it's different mentalities. People that are grinding the game right now are playing it for the love of the game, whereas back then people were playing it to make money and become sponsored. Become
yeah, that's a good point.
I mean,
known in the scene. It's
Do I
different.
really care if they do an Injustice 1 tournament? Who's a better Aquaman than Theo now in Injustice 1? Fuck no. I don't want to see the best Aquaman today. I want to see Theo. That doesn't matter. I don't give a shit who the best Injustice 1 Aquaman is right now. Right? I mean, it's like no matter what game they go to, that's what I want to see. People, this is the.
Well, yeah, I kind of see what you're saying. It's like imagine they did a Third Strike event thing, but instead of having all the best Third Strike players that used to play the game during its prime, they have the new Street Fighter 5 players playing in Third Strike. It'd be kind of weird, but we don't really know what this event is. Like I said, it's probably
Foxy
not
plays
what you think it is.
MK11 now.
Tom.
He's top. I mean, Foxy plays MK11. He's top. So it's not like someone like Foxy is not. It's not like well he's who is good. Who's top at X. He's top in MK11. Why would you not ask him? And he streams every day.
Well, I think
Slayer.
I know
Why would you not ask Slayer? Slayer streams every day.
Well, I think
Slayer should be in MKX for sure.
I think Slayer for sure. But I think considering how incredibly hypersensitive this company has proven to be, we know from Tigers.
Wait, is NRS running this? I thought it was a different.
It's Maximilian
people.
and
It's NRS running.
Well,
okay,
I don't know.
because Dave said it's NRS picking the players.
Well, I might be wrong, but if NRS is involved in any way, shape, or form, which I don't know,
they're not.
I wouldn't be surprised that people who are slightly controversial in any way, shape, or form will not be picked.
This is not.
Well, it's kind of like what Dave said. Like why would they choose me from MKX when I don't like the game? When they could choose players that actually like the game and want to play MKX. It's weird, right? Like if you have someone that hates
there are some
Injustice
people
2
who want
or
to play
bashes
in
it,
it who were good players back
Hold
then.
on, let Crimson respond.
Go ahead.
I wanted to say this about 20 minutes ago, which is that actually a number of people who were playing, they don't like the game. In fact, they're already raging about it and being like,
wait, for real?
Yeah, have you been watching the streams? Like,
well, to be fair, I seen a couple of them. I saw Rewind stream, and he was like, "This game is so stupid."
Yeah, like,
but I was laughing at it because, me personally, I find entertainment in seeing people rage about games because it's to me just funny.
I went to go watch the streams just to see, like, how are people doing, what are they saying, and stuff like that. And it was like rage after rage. It was people being like, "This game is stupid. Like, you call this neutral? Like, where are the footsies? Like, you know what I mean? Like, literally,
that's MK11 that's MK11 on a daily basis, and everybody.
It's all jumping and point blank and 50-50s and yeah. So I'm not even sure that all the people who are playing like really do love the game.
Well, then it makes sense to Tom's point how they're choosing a lot of the newer players that actually like the game to be in this.
But they're not always. But they're not. Some people that they have picked, and I guess we'll find out the truth of this when it all comes out. From what I'm hearing, some people never even competed, have no how can you know someone's top with no tournament? If somebody has no tournament results.
Well, wait, who's considered a top player in MK11 that hasn't played in a tournament offline?
But I mean, in MKX, there are some people that are being picked who have never competed in an MKX tournament ever.
Wait, has Koizi never went to an offline tournament?
For MKX, no.
They're picking people for
No,
just
MK11,
rivals that
I mean.
don't even know that MKX means MK10, bro. Like,
That's true.
I don't know whether we have enough information about this tournament in the first
There's
place.
a reason why they don't release it also. Because when you get the names, people will riot.
Well, I think we don't know for any, whether it's arbitrary or based on results. We don't know anything about this tournament.
Okay, look, look, even though the tournament, how they're choosing people may not be how we like it or whatever, can we talk about the hype behind this? Do you guys know that this game right now, MKX, is not like you guys remember it? You guys remember when Ninja Killer was like the best at MKX and like, oh shit, that's the best ever? Do you guys know Ninja Killer has been surpassed in the game by these? There's some new players that have been playing for like 6 years straight that are ridiculous right now. That's what I'm hyped for. I hope these new insanely good players that I've been seeing play the past top players like Rewind, etc., that have been getting demolished by these new players on stream. I hope some of them are picked for this MKX tournament. Because having new faces like that are super talented at the game, I think it's going to be fun to watch regardless of the whole drama behind it.
Can you imagine doing an MK9 exhibition and not picking a single player who actually played MK9?
Right, but to be fair, Tom, if there were people grinding MK9 for 10 years and they were like right now they had this insane Scorpion player, this insane Cabal, like I would be down to watch that. It'd be sick watching these new talent.
So the community you think would be okay with them doing an MK9 exhibition and not picking a single player?
Okay, here's the thing. Wait, hold on. I just want to say this, and then I want to give the floor to Crimson. I think it depends what kind of tournament it is. Is this being advertised as an old school MKX throwback, or is it being advertised as this MKX tournament with the new blood and the new talent? Because if it's being that, then there's nothing wrong with it.
It's not being advertised as let's find out who the best MKX player is right now. No, it's the fans' game. Some of you guys, they wanted to use influencers from MKX, popular streamers from MKX, YouTubers from MKX, a few top players from the MKX era, a couple of new ones that didn't compete back in the day, like Ninja Killer, probably Unbearable, etc. But it's about the fans. It's the fans. It's a fan exhibition. It's not meant to be like who is the champion today. It's not like that. No.
Crimson, go ahead, please.
Okay. Yeah. So I think it's a little. It's like half of whatever they say, half a dozen of one, 6 or the other, right? I don't really see the point in like not inviting like Slayer or Foxy or whatever. I think it's always hype for them to be there. I also think it should not be only those people. And here's the reason why. Usually exhibitions with only those people are super sad. I don't know if you guys remember some of the late exhibitions we had where we brought games back. Like the MK9 at KIT where Cloud Von Stroke bodied CD Jr. But that is not it looks so bad for the game. The level of play is so low that it's really like it's depressing to watch. And it just looks bad. It's not even exciting because even if these people are names, like the level of play is so low that it's not even who they are. So I think a good tournament would have a mix of both the people you expect to see and, some people who are good now and shaking things up. However,
I think it should be a combination.
If it was my tournament, instead of doing 31 invites, which I think is a lot for a game that probably only had 30 top players.
I think they did it because that they figure some of these people are so rusty. If it was a qualifier, some of the biggest fan favorites are probably so out of practice they wouldn't qualify.
Well,
right? So they're like, or some of the people they invited some people I think they invited never really actively competed in the game. So they're just there as kind of a fan favorite, not someone who was actually ever like one of the top players of the day. Well, so they wouldn't qualify.
Let me finish because that's what I was going to say. I think instead of doing 31 invites for a game that didn't have that many top players and one LCQ, what I probably would have done is do like either half and half, like 16 invites and 16 people play their way in, or at worst like 22 invites and then 10 people get to play their way in or something like that, And I think if you do that, then there's enough room where even some people who you might have left out, if there are 10 people that get in through playing, maybe they can grind it out and they can play their way in and it'll still be hype. When there's only one slot for LCQ, that's pretty insane. And it means, you can randomly have a bad day and just not get in. So yeah, if it were my tournament, I would probably spread it out a little more and allow at least 10 people to play their way in. And I think that would solve the problem by itself.
Yeah. And to Rio's point of, do they want to see who the best is today? The word on the street is that when you get that list, you're going to find out that some of these people are alternates to alternates to alternates. You can't have no one can try to make the argument of, is it who's the best today? If somebody is handpicking people with no results outside of opinion it's different if they're picking people that we know for a fact are top through tournament play. But when you start saying, I heard this guy was really good today, he still grinds, let's pick him. There's no evidence outside of opinion. That's why we hold tournaments, so that facts circumvent opinion. We actually get to see whatever. And when you start doing, well, we can't get him, I heard he's really good, let's get him. It's not really about picking the top players today, because if you ask people's opinion, one person could be top by one man's opinion, one person won't be top by another's. There are some people where there's no opinion. We know they were top at the game. And if you gave them 2 weeks to prepare, I think they would give a pretty good showing. I know Tweety right now is practicing for the qualifier. But again, I think it's just made to be more of a fan's game. I think, to Crim's point, if it were meant to be some type of competition like that, yeah, I agree, 16-man, maybe 16 slots, 16 invite. I understand that. I mean, again, like MKX, to me, the most memorable players maybe go to what, Crim? Maybe if you want to stretch it, top 40, top 50, right? The most memorable of memorable people that people could remember, like offhand. I don't think it goes. If even that, I don't think it goes any deeper. I think the when the Shoryuken did their big rank the top players, I think they only went to 40, whatever it was, players where like all the players could, because I don't think that players could even think of more than 40 players to rank, right? Like the best players in the world at the moment when the players ranked them. Because it got to the point where like people were getting ranked by like their 5-man local tournament. So somebody finally is like, okay, we're going to pull all the top players, give us your whatever, and that's how they try to do a more accurate ranking. So I could see if they were trying to find the best of the best. I like your idea, Crim. I think the idea was it's just an exhibition for fun, for people who were fans of MKX. And I think they
Wait, but even so, can we address this? Like, why are we so confident that the players that are playing now and actively training in it now are a low level than players were in their prime back then?
There's no way to know.
Why is that the case?
There's no way to know unless you actually have a major tournament in which everybody is playing again and they're all competing in the game again. There's no way to know.
I think we're making
right, but what I'm saying is, isn't it possible for, let's say, players that have been playing now for the past 6 years, grinding every day, isn't it possible to reach a higher level than any player was during MKX?
I'm not saying it's, but there's no way to know because it's not fair, because you're taking people who never stop playing and you want to pit them against someone who has a week or two after not playing for 6 years. The only way to accurately judge that, it'd be the same thing if you go back to any NRS game, whether it's 9 from 10 years ago, Injustice from like 7 or 8 years ago for Injustice 1, MKX for 5 or 6 years ago. Whenever you have people practicing every day for 6 years, there's no way to tell, are they actually better or are they really good players?
Right, but what I'm saying is, let's say Aquaman or whoever ends up doing an MKX Pro Series tournament on their stream for the next 6 months, right? Tournaments every month, every player's playing and whatever. Would it surprise anybody if these new MKX players are winning them and they're just showing that they're better?
It wouldn't.
Would that be a shock?
No,
I'm not saying it's not.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So why are we assuming that these players are low level and it doesn't count?
I didn't say they're not
playing anymore.
I'm not saying they're not low level.
Can I please talk? I think we're making a lot of assumptions here. I asked every single one of you before the podcast began, can you name me one thing about the tournament? None of you said anything. Not one thing.
I know, but Rio's doing a bunch of like what ifs here. He's like, well, what if this? What if that? What if this?
I understand.
No, because it was mentioned earlier that the play is usually low level when you have older players playing against the newer
CrimsonShadow
players.
was saying, when you have a player who hasn't played in like 5 or 6 years, going up against a player who's in practice, it's not necessarily that player was better. And I think Crim used the reference of, we have a player who, while he's beating an older player, we know that there's no way in hell that player at that point was ever at the level of the guy he was beating. It's just that the guy that we remember being top, his play was so sloppy that it wasn't actually enjoyable to watch this legend play, someone who's been in practice. Like, we're watching very sloppy gameplay, and people came away with, I mean, if he was in practice, he probably would have crushed this dude. I think that's what Crim was talking about. Like, it wasn't an enjoyable watch because you're watching an all-time great player.
No, but
be
what I'm
very,
saying
very
is,
sloppy.
what if the person practices but then still gets bodied? Then do we finally give the new player the prop?
Okay, but you're talking a lot of ifs, and there's no. I'm not saying it's not possible, but there's no avenue in which any old player is going to start grinding the game again right now. There's no platform for it. There's no like.
Yeah, that's why I said if someone like Mr. Ackerman were to do this MKX tournament thing, kind of like MK11, where there's like tournaments every month for the next 6 months, it would be cool to see that. See how good are the new players now grinding the game
That requires
compared to the
game
older
to
players.
come back.
But it won't be one instance. It'll be like, let's say the old players take it seriously, start grinding the game, and like I think that would be so fun to watch.
It would, but that would mean the game has to make a full comeback. Like, I think a lot of people.
Right, and what I'm saying is if there's like monthly tournaments with, I don't know, crazy pop prizes, then that may be the incentive that some players need to come back.
If look, let me just say this: if people need money to come back to MKX, they don't fucking love that game either, regardless of what they say. All right, so let me just say this. And also, by the way, to CrimsonShadow's point, where he was saying he thinks it's more of this thing started because of the Twitch Rivals thing, you guys have both referenced. Literally, the day the NRS made their tweet about the hotfix, everyone's like, fuck MK11, that game was shit, we're going to MKX. And Crim's been watching streams. 48 to 72 hours later, now they're back on the MKX is, not as what we, like. So and keep in mind, some of these guys that are top players in MK11 that went on the MKX bandwagon, or not bandwagon, but jumped on the MKX, like, let's try this. They actually, while they were top, they never traveled a single day for that game. They never grinded that game. So, like, as they're getting into the game and people are playing with them and more of the dumb shit is coming out, they're like, now we remember. Now we remember why we didn't play this game like that. And I think that's really what's happening here. I mean, there are definitely guys who love the game, who play the game a lot, and they're definitely very good players, and I think it's definitely cool to watch that. But as far as what you're talking about, Rio, like, let's take the old school versus the new school. Let's put all the players together, do a bunch of tournaments, and see whatever. That requires the game to make a full comeback, and I don't know that that's going to happen because people still want to play MK11. Like, I know they go on streams and they bash it when it's popular to do, like when the Twitch Rivals thing got announced. But at the end of the day, I don't think people want to play MK11 or MKX right now. I think they'd much rather MK11 get changed and go to that rather than go to MKX, which we know is never getting changed.
I just want to say that first of all, we don't even know who's getting.
Well, let's get Zyphox's opinion of this. He's been,
I know, so have I actually. We don't know who's getting invited. Foxy's for might be getting invited. Nobody knows. We know nothing about this. I don't think it's fair to speculate and engage in gossip when we know nothing about these tournaments. And by the way, yes, I would trust Mr. Akram more than Maximilian about who's good in the even in MKX right now than trust Maximilian. What does he know about the community? He knows nothing. The last time I saw him play, he was playing Resident Evil Village, for God's sake. What does he know about our community? Zyphox, go ahead.
He plays MKX a lot though.
I don't care.
So I don't know if you guys know, but Twitch Rivals isn't like the most super competitive thing. And most likely, to get as much exposure as possible, they're definitely going to include players outside of our community in this, like big name streamers or some type of like content creators. It's inevitable. They're gonna have people that we've never even heard of play other
who have no clue how to play the game are going to be in this.
Yeah, it's going to be just something that no one's going to really in our community.
Bro,
so I don't.
Can I just say, do you guys think the whole Shiva thing's going to happen again? Where one player's going to get told to do one cheesy tactic that's going to take over the tournament? I think I know what character it's going to be, by the way.
No, because there's going to be there are going to be some good players.
There's going to be good players in it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought it was just going to be.
It's not just going to be like.
Okay, never mind.
Imagine they invite the crying girl, like in
Bro, dude, and then she has to go up against Jackie Full Auto. No, I can't.
yeah, no.
Dude.
Imagine someone picks
She
Gora
looks-
on her, and she's like, "Not again, not again. I thought it was fun."
Yeah, yeah. I mean, honestly, yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see whether people really grind. Because I mean, if you click MKX right now on Twitch, I know it's like 1 a.m, but there's not a single known player playing the game, and most of the top titles are in Spanish. Because those are the guys who actually are still playing the game.
And honestly, it was only that one day. Honestly, here's what happened. NRS released a thing about a hotfix, and
People got salty.
Twitch rivals announced their shit on the same day. So everybody was like, yeah, MKX. And fuck you, NetherRealm hotfix. We don't want that. We want a full-blown overhaul. So everybody lashed out at the same time. MKX had like 2,000 people watching because everybody was streaming MKX. I was streaming it for a few hundred. Rewind had a few hundred. Foxy had a few hundred. Nobody was And the very next day, MK11 had 1,200 watching, and MKX had like 200. I mean, it was within 24 hours. Like that. That was whatever.
Yeah, I think there's a small wave out there for sure, but I think people are just getting so frustrated with MK11 that I think at this point they had rather do anything but play the game. That let's start a protest. Let's just play this game, whatever. Even I don't think people like MKX all that much anyway. At least not. They'll play it, they'll get salty, they'll come back. But anyway, I do want to wrap it up soon. I'm going to give Zyphox the last word.
Can we just do the round really quick about the communication thing?
No, we cannot. No, we will not, because we've already discussed that.
That's the main problem with this.
You already touched upon it. The podcast is almost 2 hours long. I'm going to give Zyphox the last word.
We did a podcast without actually touching on what people are the most angry about.
Zyphox gets the last word. Go ahead.
About this topic?
Anything you want to, because you've been the most patient waiting.
Yeah, like, how do you feel about MKX, Zyphox?
Okay, well.
Question.
Well, I definitely already had my fun with MKX. I tried playing it the other day. It's just not like I tried. I was like, okay, yeah, Flame Fist super easy. It's not something that I want to put myself through again. It took a lot of time and effort in order to get to the level that I got to in that game. And as someone, who's flawed, I get super frustrated when I can't do the things that I used to do because my brain and my hands are not working in conjunction. It's like, yo, wait, what? Like, what's going on? Why can't I do this? What happened? Like, my muscle memory's gone. So I was just like, you know what? I'm good. My muscle memory lies in MK11 because I play MK11 semi frequently, like once a week or something. So I'd rather play things that I'm kind of decent at, so I don't get frustrated. Like I was playing Injustice 1 with Rio yesterday and Cosner. I'm like, dude, I can't even do a combo. Granted, it was laggy as hell, but that's old.
That Injustice 1 netcode, man.
But that's where I stand. I can't really say that I like MK11 more than I like MKX or vice versa. I think both MK games have their strengths and their weaknesses. As an overall complete package, I'd give it to MK11 just because it's been going on longer, and maybe it's just more recency bias for me. But they released a lot of things that I kind of had a wish list for MK for a while, but they kind of also didn't really get to do their due diligence, I feel, with the game. I wish that COVID never happened, and maybe we did get that overhaul that we're all waiting for, and we could all love MK. Because when MK11 was first announced, I was so excited. Like, I was so ready to get back to MK, like the roots of it all, where I started. Started at MK9, went 0-2 my first 2 tournaments. Ended up being an Evo top 8 medalist. In the next game it came out, so I was thinking about doing the same thing, right? MK11, I'm like, I'm back, guys, and then it just ended up not being what I thought it was going to be. So, I mean, everything has their place, and all memories have their time,
And can I just say 1 minute before we wrap? If you are playing MKX because you love the game and you've been grinding it out, and not just because it's the hot thing this week or whatever, like, more power to you.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. Play what you love. Yeah.
I'm glad people are still playing that. I'm glad people are still playing Injustice. I'm glad there are more tournaments now for people like you. And don't let anyone discourage you or tell you shouldn't do it. Keep doing your thing.
If it's what you love to do, keep doing it. And guys, in the comments, I know you guys want to know, what do we think about the communication going forward? Unfortunately, our host has said we have no time, so wait 7 business days, and then we'll address it next time.
Once somebody stops talking twice as much as everybody else, then maybe we can have more time.
Okay, then next week I won't talk at all, and you guys can blame M2 Dave for that. Thank you very much. Wrap it up.
Well, nobody's stopping you from leaving the podcast. So with
Okay,
that
so
said,
Dave wants me to leave the podcast. You guys heard it, boys. Don't be surprised next week then.
with that said, I appreciate all our viewers for listening. I want to thank my co-hosts Crimson Shadow, MK Time, Brady, and Rio, and Zyphox for listening. Please let us know what you think about all these topics in the comments, and we will read them and we will address them on the next podcast. Thank you so much.
If we have enough time to address them.